So good afternoon. I'm Samuele Porzia. I'm the Senior Officer for Indirect Investment Department. I will be your moderator for this webinar. I remember Invest in Italy in the manufacturing supply chain that it was presented by us Italian Trade Agency in collaboration with Invest in Italy in Vitalia. So a warm welcome to all honorable guests around the world. A special greeting for those companies that are connected from Asian countries. I guess it's evening time now, so very welcome again. So I would kindly ask Mr. Valerio Soldani, the head of Foreign Direct Investment Support Office, to deliver his opening remarks. Thank you, Valerio.
Thank you, Samuele. Let me share a big thank you with all our attendees here and all the people that are connected worldwide. I know that early Friday afternoon is not easy. Hybrid events are all over the place. We see people here in this meeting room, and we see people connected from all around the world. So thank you for being here. I'm Valerio Soldani, the head of Foreign Direct Support Office at the Italian Trade Agency headquarters in Rome. And first of all, I'd like to bring the greetings from Mrs. Lucia Pasqualini of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, head of the Foreign Direct Investment Office and the Digitalization Office that couldn't attend today and be here. Big thank you to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for the continuing support to our efforts in promoting Italy as an investment opportunity worldwide. And a big thank you to the World Manufacturing Foundation, and Professor Marco Taiscio will be speaking in the session, the next session today with us for the huge support, and all the regions that are gonna be speaking after this session. So I think we could start with the slides. I'd like to introduce myself. I had previous experiences in a New York office in private companies and startups as well. And I'm head of the team that at the ITA, the Italian Trade Agency, promotes investment opportunities in Italy, together with the investment team, with Invitalia, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and Ministry of Economic Development, to put Italy as a big, interesting option as an investment opportunity worldwide for corporate players, institutional players as well. So what's ITA? The Italian Trade Agency is the government agency that's been promoting exports, made in Italy exports, and investment opportunities worldwide. I'd like to share a quick overview of our team worldwide. So you may see on the screen, there's a little ciampicolo nero. Okay, yeah, sorry about that. So this is our worldwide network. We have 78 offices worldwide in the biggest countries and markets that are an opportunity for our export. And we do have 23 FDI offices, units, desks, and analysts in the, let's say, the top 20 investing countries worldwide. So this is the government agency that's a trade promotion agency, but an investment promotion agency as well. We are part of the World Association of Investment Promotion Agency, and what we try to do is to bring the Italian value proposition to the table of prospect investors worldwide. Next slide. Yeah. I think it's not working. Prossima. So we work in a framework that's an institutional framework together with our two ministries that I already mentioned, and in partnership with public and private entities to present ourselves with a single-stop shop to foreign investors. So when you are dealing with one of our foreign offices or one of our FDI analysts or desks or units worldwide, you're dealing with the first gateway to the investment opportunities in Italy. So we try to help the prospect investors to navigate the complexity of the second manufacturing economy in Europe to be aware of what are the concrete and practical steps that they have to follow. So the next speech after me will be of Dr. Marco D'Acunto, Mr. Marco D'Acunto of Invitalia, that will be telling you what's the second part of the process. So after knocking at our door at the single stop shop of the investment opportunity, will be accompanied and let's say receive a walkthrough into what are the incentives, the framework, and the actual opportunities that we do have in Italy. My team worldwide in Rome and in the 23 units handles a volume of 800 approximately leads per year. So 800 actual opportunities in which we promote made in Italy sites, opportunities, industries, and clusters. Next slide. Prossima. Okay, so as many of you already know, because you're really interested in the Italian economy, Italy ranks 7th in the 2022 ITA Kearney Index of Confidence, and is the 3rd European country in this special ranking. It is the 2nd EU manufacturing economy, and we had a very good first semester in 2022 as a global economy. So as you may know, 32% of our national wealth, our GDP is made of exports. So we are a global economy interconnected with all the key industries worldwide. That's why we scored a 22.4% increase in the first semester of 2022 compared to the previous period in 2021, which is, let's say, the boost era after the full recovery from the COVID and the pandemic era, when we had, as a globally connected economy, let's say, a large slump in exports. Then we fully recovered in 2021, and we had a great boost in 2022. That's been boosted not only by, let's say, the entrepreneurship and innovation of our companies, but as well as the restructuring of the supply chain that we've seen happening, and then that's been discussed already in the previous session today here in the beautiful venue of Porsche Franciacorta Experience Center by other interesting speakers. So I think that it is a core part of what we've seen as the interconnected opportunities that we have to offer as a central node for the supply chain worldwide. So we try to, next slide please, to understand together with our partners what are the drivers of this supply chain restructuring trend. And we've seen already in the previous session that there are some factors that are driving the supply chain that are not only, let's say, connected to the friendshoring trends or the resilience necessity that every company has been aware of after COVID and after the, let's say, international tensions and the war in February. So what we've seen, there are several drivers after an Harvard Business Review survey among manufacturing companies in Western countries that are basically, it is the previous slide, sorry about that, precedente. Okay. So these drivers are the quality standard, the necessity to have a proximity to the customer, so to being close to a local customer and a local supply chain. And the third driver is the made in effect. So being aware of a new evolving customer, as we've seen, we've been talking about sustainable natives, not only digital natives, but sustainable natives that are very keen and focused on ESG features that a company and a product has to offer. So these effects, together with the innovation of process and product, are some of the biggest drivers when it comes to companies' decisions worldwide, especially in Western countries, worldwide, to restructure their supply chain. And we've seen that also in many interesting Southern Eastern Asian market, in other MENA countries, in the Latin area. So it's something that we're seeing worldwide. And I think that Italy has something to say when it comes to innovation and the made in effect. Next slide. Non so se funziona. I think it's not working. right. So what's the advanced manufacturing? Everybody knows what's the advanced manufacturing, but where does Italy poses itself? I think it's the value proposition is the ecosystem. When I meet a foreign investor, a prospect foreign investor with my team, both in Italy and abroad, one of the two first questions are, first, what's the industrial ecosystem in my sector? Just to give you an example, I had a meeting with a company last week from a very big country with a interesting investment plan in European Union. First question was, okay, so what's my life science clusters in Italy? Because they are not always aware of the differences that we have among the regions, and some of our speakers in the next session will be illustrating that. So this is one of the assets that we have. And the second one is the ecosystem. So they ask about the talent pool, and we do have several talent pools of people that are aware, that have been growing together with small and medium enterprises that compose an entire complete supply chain, especially when it comes to manufacturing intensive sectors. An example here, screen, next one. Is, for example, the mechanical engineering. We're talking about several, it's the previous one, la precedente, e la precedente ancora. Precedente. Okay, so for example, mechanical engineering, it's 142 billion euros volume of affairs, volume of turnover industry, together with robotics, with advanced manufacturing, automotive, and several other industries that has something to say when it comes to advanced manufacturing. I think Italy has got all these local ecosystems with some differences among the territories. So possiamo andare sulla successiva, e la successiva ancora? Okay. So we do have several channels that you've seen already. We are on the social, we have a website, Invest in Italy, into the ita.gov.it and ice.gov.it. You can browse our assets. One of the documents I may recommend, especially to our foreign audience that is remotely connected, is the Doing Business in Italy guide. It's a really good starting point to understand several processes, like starting in business in Italy, hiring talent, IP regulation, navigating the taxation system in Italy, and the system of the financial tax and incentives. And it's a really good starting point, together with knocking at our door and asking questions to our offices worldwide. So you always have a point of contact to make questions and ask questions and do your business properly, starting with the right in the right direction. Prossima slide. We do have also other information assets already that are interesting in several vertical industries like life sciences, the manufacturing, and aerospace. So please browse our website. It's a good starting point to make other questions, and that's it. Let me say a huge thank you, ultima slide, to all our colleagues in our companies connected that accept the invite, and our distinguished guests today here. We have an email, supporto.ide@ice.it. My name is Valerio Soldani, v.soldani, @ice.it. So shoot me a message anytime. We're here to help you, and ask questions, download our information assets. We're your single-stop shop when it comes to investing in Italy. Thank you.
Thank you, Valerio, for this great opportunity that Italian Trade Agency is offering throughout the world to our potential investors abroad. Just a couple of things before I introduce the second speaker for this opening remarks. Just be informed so that all the presentations will be forwarded to all the attendees, also Valerio's presentation, so don't worry about this. So concerning the program of the day, After the opening remarks, around 3 o'clock, we will start with the presentation on regional opportunities by each regional expert. We will have 5 speakers. And then at the end, around 4 o'clock, the closing remarks by Professor Marco Taisch, that is the scientific chairman of the World Manufacturing Foundation. So I will kindly ask Marco D'Acunto, Senior Project Manager, High-Tech Sector of Invitalia, to deliver his opening remarks. Thank you. Thank you, Marco.
Thank you. Good afternoon to you all. I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you for the invitation. I'm going to share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yes, Marco, we can see. You can go on. You can start your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, so thank you very much. My name is Marco D'Acunto, and I'm part of the Invest in Italy team. I work for Invitalia, that is the national agency in charge of economic and industrial development and inward investment. Today, I would like to give you a brief overview of assistance services and incentives that we can provide in order to support and to boost foreign investments in our country. So let's start from our assistance services. We provide assistance throughout the entire investment process, from pre-investment information to the final setup of the company. Our services include investment information, of course, what we call business and ecosystem intelligence. So we provide ad hoc information about the key industrial sectors of our country, value chains, innovation ecosystems, and high-tech regional clusters, and all the key specializations and the key players. We also provide support for recruitment needs of the companies and incentive advisory. Another typical services we offer to companies willing to invest in our country is the location scouting. That means that we provide a set of suitable settlement opportunities for companies according to their needs. They have to set up a plant or an R&D centers or an office. We also facilitate relations with institutions at central and local level in order to speed up the investment process through obtaining work permits, authorizations, procedures. So trying to reduce the negative impact of red tape. And we also provide a business matching and open innovation services in order to strengthen the collaboration between multinationals, foreign companies, and Italian startups and R&D center. So let's move to the second topic, incentives. As you can see from the slide, in Italy are available around a wide range of incentive schemes and fiscal benefits. Here they are organized in 4 groups. There are incentive schemes dedicated to large investments. There are fiscal benefits that works automatically. That's why they are very simple and appreciated by companies. There are incentive schemes aimed at supporting and boost R&D projects in our country. And then a final group dedicated to support the creation and the development of innovative SMEs and startups. I would like to give you a very brief overview on 3 of these incentive schemes you can see highlighted in the slide. So let's start with the development contract. Development contract is the main national incentive scheme that aims to support large industrial investment with a minimum value of 20 million euros. It is an upon request scheme, and the company has to implement the project in 3 years. The beneficiaries are every kind of companies according to the different sides. And there is also the possibility to apply as a multiple companies. In this case, the leading companies has to invest the minimum value of 10 million euros, while the other participating players have to invest a minimum value of 1.5 million euros. So in the slide, you can see which are the aid intensities. They vary according to two elements, the geographical location and the company size. You can imagine that, of course, smaller is the company, higher is the aid the development contract can provide. And from a geographical perspective, in southern regions of Italy, the aid is higher. Of course, this is based on the EU rules. Just to give you an example, a medium company investing in the first group of southern Italy regions that include Apulia, Calabria, Campania, and Sicily can obtain a 50% of grants. These aids are referred to grants investing in these territories. Let me point out some elements regarding the R&D activities. So it's possible also to submit an R&D project that is related to the main key industrial investment project. In this case, there are no restrictions from a geographical perspective. So as you can see, 50% for industrial research activities and 25% for experimental development. And then there is the possibility to receive an additional benefit of 15 percentage points in case of collaboration between the investing company and an SMEs or an institutional research player. So here there are some figures and example just to give you a proof of how the development contract has produced very remarkable achievements in our country. 8 billion euros of total investments over the last few years. And as you can see, many multinationals you should be familiar with that invested successfully in our country. So let's move to the second incentive scheme. It is called the Innovation Agreement. It is based on call for proposals, and it is fully dedicated on R&D investment project. The next call for proposal will open on the end of the next January. In this case, the projects, of course, have to be based on R&D activities and to be focused on one of the 6 families of cats you can see listed in the slide. The minimum value of the project has to be of 5 million euros, and the duration has to be to range between 18 and 36 months. The aids provided are grant 50% for industrial research activity and 25% for experimental development activities. And there is also the possibility to require a soft loan up to 20%. Well, let me just to highlight the creation of a specific fund in our country dedicated to automotive sector. So there are huge resources available for the next 8 years, and immediately the first tranche of resources are available for companies in very few days, because the 29th of November will open a specific call to apply for development contract for manufacturing project in automotive sector and R&D project through the innovation agreement. So there is a specific call dedicated to this sector. Last incentive scheme, this is called Smart on Start. It's managed directly by Invitalia and is dedicated to the creation and development of innovative startups. In this case, the incentive scheme works nationwide, and the maximum level of cost eligible is 1.5 million euros. The project have to be implemented in maximum 24 months, so 2 years. The valuation is carried out by Invitalia directly in only 70 days. The beneficiaries are innovative startups with no more than 5 years. And but there is also the possibility to apply as individuals. So if you are EU citizens, there are no problem of visa. Otherwise, if you are non-EU citizens, you can apply through the startup visa. Subsidies provided in this case are a loan, an interest-free loan up to 80%, with the possibility that this threshold rise to 90% with the matching several specific conditions, as in the case of a company that is composed exclusively by women or young people. But for startups investing in southern Italy, there is an additional benefit. They have to give back only the 70% of the loan. So let's say that the 30% of the loan is basically a grant. Okay, I think my time is over. Thank you very much for your attention. Of course, you can write me an email, and I will be more than happy to answer to your questions. Thank you again.
Thank you, Marco, for your key information for foreign investors. So we're going to close now the first session concerning the opening remarks. And let me introduce now the second part of our webinar, so the presentation regional opportunities. I just remind to the speakers that each of you has more or less 10 minutes for its presentation. So let me give the floor to Mr. Armando Cilento, the business developer of the company Cilento Spa, that will give us a presentation on the agri-food excellence manufacturing industry in the region Campania. Thank you. Armando.
Good morning, everyone. As I was nicely introduced, my name is Armando Cilento. Can you just confirm you can see the video? Are the slides on?
Yes, we confirm. Yes, we confirm. You can go on. Thank you.
So today I will be guiding you through the investment opportunities in Campania's supply chain in manufacturing. The presentation firstly touches upon the Campania's ecosystem and also the consistent outstanding track record in recent years, and then gets more pragmatic with a case history, an example of an investment made in the manufacturing supply chain. So just before we start, let's roll back to the very definition of supply chain, which is the network of individuals, organizations, resources, activities, and technology to produce a product and then distribute it. Now, moving forward, let's see how Campania checks out all of the boxes and makes really a compelling case. On the next slide, we see an infographic on the region's key facts and figures. So demographically speaking, Campania is one of the largest regions in Italy with 6 million inhabitants, accounting for 6.1% of the Italian GDP, 109 billion euros. Accordingly, it also has one of the largest workforces with 2 million active people, up by 10% in the last 10 years, which is rather high compared to the low single digit in Italy, 4%. This is mainly because Campania is, Campania is one of the youngest populations in Italy. 1 in every 5 is below the age of 20, which actually makes a case for an even stronger growth in the upcoming years. On the right-hand side here, we see how Campania also plays a role in exports, 12 billion and growing above Italian average, and foreign direct investment. Some 1,300 companies are owned by, controlled by foreign investors and are currently employing 40,000 people. Now, let's briefly deep dive into the manufacturing sector. 10% of total Campania's GVA for main sectors, agri-food, textile, transportation, and metallurgy. Our focus today is really agri-food. So when we come to that, Campania has an actual expertise, a great deal of expertise in agri-food, with really well-developed agriculture and food and beverage industries, making up some 4.2 billion euros in value added. Now, what's also really striking is that when we consider the figure for food and beverage, that makes up for 1/3 of the total value added by all of the regions in southern Italy. This is also made possible by the really diverse and transversal supply chain base that we see represented here at the bottom. Some 40,000 companies spanning from wood production through to transportation and storage operators. So though this supply chain really supports the operations and growth of the companies. Next, there's actually one of my favorite slides, because it really represents the diversity and of the productions and how those widespread are throughout the provinces. There are some areas of expertise in which Campania really excels. For example, dairy and processing of fruits and vegetables. Now, if we have a closer look at each and every province, namely Caserta, Napoli, Salerno, Avellino, and Benevento, we see how every province has a specific area of expertise. For example, meat in Benevento. And then there are some areas of expertise that are really present everywhere, such as dairy, for example. Next, when we discussed the concept of supply chain, we saw how innovation was important. Now, an innovation ecosystem is important for this reason. Campania has 5 universities offering engineering courses and training centers, which is actually a center of excellence to worldwide players such as Apple, Cisco, Deloitte, more than 40 research centers, and some cluster organizations, each one focusing on a regional manufacturing sector. Now, we saw this in the previous presentation by Emilia, but when thinking of a long-term business plan, it's also important to take into account costs and incentives. So a company set up in Campania can benefit from a lower labor cost, on average 14% lower than Italy, which is already lower than the Western European average. Also, there are among the highest levels of incentives for investments, 40% for large groups, up to 50-60% for SMEs. Also, in R&D, there's a tax credit up to 5 million or 10% of eligible costs. Now, this closes up the part of the ecosystem and description of the region, and we're getting now more pragmatic. We've explored Campania, the sectors, manufacturing, the importance of agri-food, and now we'll go through a real-life example regarding a producer. So our company, basically, of mozzarella di bufala campana PDO. This cheese is rather important because it represents the 3rd largest PDO cheese in Italy. Now, when we talk of food in Italy, we know that Italy is associated with quality premium foods. We can see here a representation of PDO, PGI, PSG designated products by the European Union, summing up to some 3,000 products. 1 in every 4 is Italian. Now, mozzarella di bufala campana PDO is a really important PDO. It's a really important cheese. And actually, it's of even greater importance to Campania. So it was first designated in 1996 by the European Union as a PDO product, but the history dates back to the 10th century. So we see here our territory, roots, tradition are really important for the manufacturing ecosystem in Campania. Now, there are around 100 producers of this important cheese, but the production is really, it's really dense in Campania, Caserta and Salerno provinces. So now a little bit of background on the company. Cilento is one of the major producers of this cheese, exporting to 30 countries. The company was founded 40 years ago by grandfather Luigi, and it's since then been run and owned by family members. Actually, I'm part of the 3rd generation. We needed to expand the production capabilities, and we wanted to do that in a way, in a different way, in a new way, to really have an important industrial site that would represent this product in Italy and hence throughout the world with exports. So there was a 2018-2023 investment plan of 20 million euros, and it was sponsored by the Power Campania FESR 2014-2020. Now, what we will be able to achieve with this investment is a smart factory. So we will digitalize all of the production processes and make sure we always have the same safety and quality standards. Also, we will be able to integrate the supply chain. So we know everything and when that's happening. And so we're able to adjust our choices about stock suppliers. We will be able to integrate the real-time data from the customer shelves. So retail chains in France, Germany will have the data. And according to that, we will be able to plan our forecast and our production. And all of that also means more visibility into data. And so data integration with the factory, the stakeholders, suppliers, and all of the other logistics operators with the customers makes actually possible to have better choices at a better time. So in a few words, I think that in Campania, there's Campania is really strong and growing, and there's an interesting entrepreneurial tissue. I hope you found the contents interesting, and here you can see the context for representatives from the Regione, Sviluppo Campania. If you support the presentation, thank you.
Thank you very much, Armando. So I would like to ask now Mr. Gianandrea Esposito, that is expert of territorial development attractiveness unit of the region Emilia-Romagna. So I hand over to you, Gianandrea.
Yes.
It's being recorded.
Good afternoon to everyone. It's a great pleasure to be here. It's a great honor to represent Emilia-Romagna in this such important event. In my presentation, I'll try to show how our advanced innovative ecosystem integrated with our business environment can represent a great opportunity for new investments. First of all, I introduce myself. I'm Gianandrea Esposito. I'm part of the Invest Emilia-Romagna team. We are the contact point for attraction and retention of investments in Emilia-Romagna. Our activities cover the main function of investment promotion, including support for each step of investment, from incentives to location scouting. We are integrated with ITA, that is International Talents Emilia-Romagna, the regional service dealing with attraction and retention of talents, with activities including not only attraction of talents from abroad, but also involving these talents in our community. Both services are managed by ARTE. My company is Attractiveness Research Territory, and is the regional development agency. And we work in strict connection and on behalf of the regional government. So Emilia-Romagna, we represent Emilia-Romagna as a top European region. We have a strong manufacturing sector. We have seen that Italy is a strong manufacturing sector. Emilia-Romagna is even higher. We have 25% of total employees in manufacturing sectors compared to 16% of the European average. Our region is strongly oriented towards internationalization and innovation. As a population, we represent 7%, about 7% of national total. As export, we represent the double, 14%, and innovation expenditure is about 13%, more than 13% of the national total. So we've been acknowledged as first region for export per capita in Italy, and also first Italian region for innovation, according to European Commission, to another index released by ITA a few weeks ago. Our strategy, our vision is to be part of the global challenges, being strongly integrated with the national level as we are today, and also with the local actors in our territories. Our policies are strongly committed towards investment promotion. We have a specific law concerning attraction, investment promotion, and soon we will have also a regional law focused on talent attraction and retention. But other challenges are ecological transition, and also we are a region worldwide known for some sectors such as Motor Valley, but we are investing in new opportunities, and in the future we are confident we will be famous also for our Data Valley and for many other new opportunities that we are creating. Our goal is very simple but challenging at the same time. We want to attract innovative investments, creating qualified employment. And this is another important factor, integrated with our regional value chains and ecosystem. This is not a requirement. This is something that we offer to the investment. And this is not only theory. Here are some of the investment we are attracting in Emilia-Romagna. I will focus on some of these. Let me say that many of these investors, after landing in Emilia-Romagna, are expanding in this period their presence, such as Toyota Material Handling and Medtronic have expansion plan. But just 1 week ago, Philip Morris, probably the most important foreign investment in Italy, announced a new investment, 600 million euros of investment. What's more important, an investment involving 7,500 suppliers in Italy, most of them in Emilia-Romagna. So this is integration. Integration means Emilia-Romagna, an American multinational, landed in Emilia-Romagna. They developed a new product, a new production process with regional companies. They created 1 year ago an institute for manufacturing competencies because they want to innovate towards Industry 4.0, the whole value chain. And now they're expanding with the support of the ecosystem they're present. Other examples are FEV, AVL, B. Brown. They created, opened with also with the regional support, a new R&D center, but these R&D centers are open to third parties. They are part of our ecosystem. My colleague, my national colleague, Marco D'Acunto, mentioned Lamborghini is a great case of integration between the regional and national incentives, and is another important investment in Emilia-Romagna. We are proud that have been considered by the FDI division of the Financial Times as one of the regions with the best FDI strategy in Europe. I will focus on our regional loan investment promotion. The main policy instrument is the agreement for the settlement and development of enterprises. And the main innovation of this agreement is that you have just one procedure for different types of action. So to get incentives for R&D projects, R&D facilities, productive investment, environmental protection, training, and also other types of activities, you just have one procedure. But the agreement is not only about incentives, it's about having a certain time frame of the procedure and having a direct relationship with the local bodies that are involved in the agreement. We publish about 1 call for proposal every year, starting from 2016. The results you see don't consider the last call that just closed 1 month ago. You see that you see many companies that I mentioned in the previous slide. We created about 3,000 new jobs, 18 new R&D centers open to third parties, and we are keep on working and with the strongest integration with the national level. So a key message of this presentation is that our know-how, our collaborative innovation represent a concrete opportunity. University and training system are strongly oriented towards Industry 4.0, not only university. We have a higher technical institute foundation. The ITS Maker is an example in advanced mechanical engineer, and courses are created according to the needs of the company. BREX is one of the most important competence center in Industry 4.0 in Italy. We have a regional high technology network providing a network laboratories for supply, mostly for supply for small and medium companies, and in order to allow a strong innovation in each step of the chain. Cluster association for every main sector, we have a cluster association integrating companies, laboratories, and training system. I will mention later our data valley that is a very important, a key asset that I want to highlight today, and of course top companies and value chains. This innovation is cross-cutting all our main key sectors. I can mention the easiest example is packaging machinery. We are the regional sector represent about half of the national sectors, as is cross-cutting with food packaging, pharmaceutical, fashion, but also I was mentioning before Philip Morris, the production process of Philip Morris in Emilia-Romagna has been creating collaboration with many companies of packaging machinery in the region. So you can see other example could be lifting and handling equipment with the forklift produced, for instance, by Toyota Material Handling, fueled with batteries and hydrogen, and many other examples. This is just a summary of what I already said. Our university system, more than 11,000 STEM graduates per year, our cluster association, and one very important example. You can see our motor vehicle university, the collaboration between university and top companies to create advanced courses, attracting talents and providing human resources for our companies. Yesterday in Bologna was inaugurated one of the most powerful computer in the world. And fourth, fifth, I don't know, but it's one of the most powerful, and it's right in Bologna, right in our data valley technopole. And don't imagine this supercomputer as something separated for the manufacturing sectors. The focus of this data valley is one of the main focus of this data valley is digital manufacturing and Industry 4.0. Besides that, also sustainability, life science, and smart mobility. And this data valley, Leonardo, will be integrated in a group of actors that actually inside the data valley that is really and you see many actors I already mentioned, like Birex Competence Center. There are many others, and I just want to highlight that the top infrastructure is called manufacturing technopole, data valley hub. So you can see you can see that the connection between data and manufacturing is the first and our priority. One important project is concerning ecological transition. Ecosystem means ecosystem Emilia-Romagna, and I said that there is a strong regional commitment. There are very important investment ongoing. An example is a maxi offshore wind farm near Ravenna with floating solar photovoltaic and green hydrogen production. But this is just an example. The project ecosystem, more than a project, this is a program, because it's worth like 110 million euros. And we can see the connection between ecological transition and manufacturing, materials, clean energy, green manufacturing, smart solution, ecological, point 6, ecological transition based on HPC and data technology, direct connection with the data valley. So today, this is, you can see our region. I show you just some examples of business opportunity, but most of all, I want to show you our approach. We try to connect your business with our assets and to offer our added value. So I will show you two important assets, data valley, some investments, an example investment in renewable energy. And now I'll show you some important area that are available for new investments in Bologna metropolitan area, near the data valley hub, and in Argenta and province of Ferrara, and in Ravenna, very close to this new investment in renewable energy. These are just example, and you see that we can have a very different dimension of area. And one common point is that we have local municipalities very much business oriented and with very open to new business, very with a great will to support new companies. And there is an environment with is looking forward to be integrated with the new innovative business. So I say once again, these are just examples, but our counterpoint is part of our work is just to find the solution that best suits your needs. You can see that we are investing in Emilia-Romagna, but also investing in Romagna real estate, and our activities, of course, are free of charge. So we are looking forward to hearing from you, and we stay available for any question and clarification. Thank you very much to all the organization, and I leave the floor to the next speakers.
Thank you very much for this wide presentation of the opportunities in the region Emilia-Romagna. Now, I would like to ask Madame Lidia Alessio Verni, from General Director from the region Friuli, Venezia, Giulia, who will introduce us the opportunities in the region.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me in this important meeting. I'm sorry that I'm not there in person, because I would have liked to share the atmosphere and all the speeches that are going on, very interesting in these days. I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Lidia Alessio Verni. I'm the General Director of Agenzia Lavoro e Sviluppo Impresa, the Regional Investment Development Agency of Friuli, Venezia, Giulia. And the purpose of my presentation today is to, from the starting point, not from the last slide. Is everything working? I think so. Is it okay? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah, thank you. The purpose of my presentation is to show you why you should invest in Friuli Venezia Giulia, which are our competitive edges. And I would like to share with you a very important information, something that makes us really proud. And Friuli Venezia Giulia is a big part of that successful result for Italy, that is ranking so well in the last year in terms of new FDIs, because Friuli Venezia Giulia is 6.3% of that increase. And the last year's our percentage in terms of investments on the national total was 2%, more or less, 2, sometimes 3%. Now it's 6.3%. If you imagine that our region is more or less 2% of the national GDP, you understand that we are having a great attention from investors in these years. And I hope that it's also something that comes from what me and my team and me are trying to do for the region. So what are the reasons?
Mi scusi dottoressa, la interrompo.
Sì?
Riesce praticamente abbiamo l'immagine di 2 diapositive, dovrebbe toglierne una. Ingrandisce la grande.
This is one of the most
Full screen, il bottone full screen.
Is it here? È qua sotto, no?
Lidia, dovresti andare dove vedi i 3 puntini, ecco, più a destra, lì sì, quei 3 pallini, e fai nascondi visualizzazione relatore.
Great.
Vai.
Ok?
No. Aspetta, non ancora. Ecco, fai così.
Presentazione.
Allarga sopra schermo pieno.
Schermo pieno.
Tutto a destra sulla striscia rossa. Ecco, okay. Lì.
Ecco,
bene.
Benissimo.
E ora metti in modalità presentazione come stamattina. Lì giù. in basso a destra di
Lo
PowerPoint.
so, io l'ho fatto, però non lo riceve velocemente.
Ok, ok. Vabbè, forse già
L'avete preso?
va meglio così. No, non lo vediamo a pieno schermo.
Allora, facciamo questo trick.
Ecco qui,
Bene.
ottimo.
Sometimes Zoom
Okay.
needs to do it twice. Okay. So as I was saying, we are very proud to share with you that we are really a great part of the Italian success. And what are the reasons why many investors are choosing our region? Well, the first reason is access to market. Our region is a small, efficient, international, innovative region, and we are situated in the northeast of Italy, close to the border with Slovenia and Austria. And are the slides working?
No, no. Dovrebbe far girare le slides.
Non funziona. Non funziona?
No.
I'm sorry.
Ecco, bravissima.
I'm so sorry.
Ora funziona.
Let me give you just some data. For example, we have 11 European countries and 9 European capitals within a 600 kilometers radius, which is something unique in Italy. We are situated at a crossroad of two important European corridors, the Baltic, Adriatic, and the Mediterranean. And we have, you can consider us as a core logistic platform for your products, for your productions. And for example, in our region, we have the free port of Trieste, which is the only international free port in Europe and the first ranked in Italy for freight handling. So openness, international region is our first competitive edge. The second competitive edge is our manufacturing expertise and the network of manufacturing actors that are in Friuli, Venezia, Giulia. For example, a quarter, 25% of our regional companies are part of the industrial sector, which is something that you will still find not in all Italian regions. We have maintained, we have fostered, we have invested in our manufacturing sector, and now we can be the place to invest for your supply chain, for your production, and for your projects. Which are our specialization sectors? For example, mechanical and steel engineering, household goods, shipbuilding and maritime technologies. We are home to Fincantieri, the biggest international national Italian company in shipbuilding. And we are also proud for our smart health sector, which is really growing in the last years, even thanks to our research ecosystem, which is very rich and vibrant. And I will say something more about it in the next slides. And last but not least, agri-food production, and of course, logistics for all your needs. If you need to access the Central and the Eastern European markets in particular. These numbers will be less interesting if we don't consider that Friuli Venezia Giulia is also a strong innovator. And I can tell you that it's not so easy being, as I told you, a small region, but we were the first Italian region to be ranked as a strong innovator in the official ranking of the European Commission. And so it's since 2019 that we have maintained and also improved this ranking. We have many innovative startups, and 3 out of 4 of our provinces are in the top 10 at the national level in terms of density of innovative startups. Friuli Venezia Giulia is also on the podium, and I believe with the colleagues from the last region speaking, in terms of export and GDP ratio. There is a really vibrant business environment. Each sector of specialization has its cluster, And all those actors in our network are at your disposal to start cooperation in the specific fields. And our smart and specialization strategy is built around those specialization, very interesting for the manufacturing sectors. We have not only, how can I say, a technological network like the clusters, but we have also an industrial infrastructural network. And this network is the network of our 6 industrial parks that are home to more than 1,200 companies. So I told you, access to markets, manufacturing expertise and network, but also support and opportunities. We are an autonomous region, and so we can benefit from this position, giving more attention to investors. We have special tax relief for new investors. We have regional offices that can help you with the hiring process. We have a complete and easy to assess system of incentives for companies, like in terms of non-refundable grants and also in terms of subsidized loans. So I think that we can be very interesting also in these terms. And our offices, of course, are at your disposal to explain you all details. And I can tell you that red tape is really cut in Friuli, Venezia, Giulia, thanks to this network and thanks to the fact that we manage directly those kinds of financial support. Coming to the last point, there is also, as I told you, a network of industrial infrastructures that are also financed by the region. We have a network of 6 industrial parks that can provide greenfield and brownfield investment opportunities. They are equipped with the most advanced infrastructures, and they are, of course, situated in the most strategic points of the region, very close to the border with Slovenia or with Austria, or in the center of Friuli, where we have a lot of outstanding companies specialized, for example, in the manufacturing and the steelworking sectors. For example, as you see in point C, we have the industrial park of Trieste, which is very close to the Trieste port. So it's an opportunity. Or in point E, we have another industrial park, which is very close to us. It's very well connected. And we have there, for example, production of rear lamps in the automotive sector. Those industrial parks can provide you services that in other territory are provided directly by the local authorities. This is a very huge difference, because you will come in contact and you will be helped in all the procedures by people that work all year, 365 days per year, with companies, with industry. So they know what are the problems, what are the issues, and what are the solutions. So they are specialized, and so they will help you with all the settlement procedures and also provide you all infrastructure of top level. Of course, as I told you, they are situated in strategical points and very well connected with all highways, railways, and of course with all you may need in terms of production delivery. And for example, here you can find on the 4th line, for example, those consortia, the Coseweg, is just 5 minutes from the highway. It's 8 minutes from Trieste airport, and so forth and so on. Coming to the end of my presentation, we of course can provide you here we have some examples of setup opportunities in terms of greenfields, in terms of brownfields. They are managed by the network of industrial parks, so we can also give you an idea of the average price, which is very interesting, and also of the distance from the most strategical points. In Friuli, Venezia, Giulia, we are very proud of some excellences in the manufacturing sector. For example, coming from, of course, from our region, but also from other countries like Electrolux or like Flextronics. And I will share with you, of course, this material just to give you an idea of the environment that you will find in our region. Our agency, Agenzia Lavoro e Sviluppo Imprese, can provide you all relevant economic information and, of course, discuss with you what you need in terms of business opportunities, in terms of contacts, in terms of opportunity for brownfield or greenfield, and information about all our regional and national support. We work closely with the colleagues from Invitalia, and we always try to find a way to give you all the national opportunity and the regional opportunity, and so to be really to welcome you in Friuli Venezia Giulia. So please, if you have any question, I am at your disposal. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Lydia. Thank you very much for this presentation of the region. I'll hand over directly to Mr. Marco Fedato, Head of Invest in Lombardy, Promos Italia. Manufacturing of Tomorrow is Here. This is the title of the presentation. So I would kindly ask everybody to respect the times of the presentation. Thank you. I give you the floor, Marco.
Good afternoon. Thanks, Italian Trade Agency for the invitation. Let me share my screen, and I'll do my best to stay within the 10 minutes. Hopefully you can see it properly. So it's good to be here today. It's always, let's say, inspiring and challenging to provide some further information after other regions have already presented their features, their advantages. But let me say, it's the good part of working together and trying to attract investments in our Italian national system for inviting us. I think we're doing a good job. Needless to say that Lombardy is definitely the leader in Italy and one of the region leader in Europe. Actually, my colleagues just told me that we should update this data because we're not longer third in Europe in terms of employees, but we're second. So first in Italy for manufacturing production, and second in Europe for employees, which is a good way to start my presentation. What I would like to stress here is the combination of, let's say, 2-3 main features of our region. The extraordinary capacity of the business environment to be internationally open, which makes the difference also when it comes to attracting investment. Because if you're international, if you're open, if you have a strong, extraordinary export, you can also be very good in dealing with attractive investment, which is the reason why we are here today. Second important thing that I would like to stress is how much we are innovative. So how much we stress on patents and on innovation applied to manufacturing. And let's say last but not least, the extraordinary business environment we have in our region. So we have mentioned here that the clusters of companies involved, and let me say the already extraordinary presence of international companies in our region. You see here among more than 6,000 multinational companies operating in Lombardy, more than 1,500 are foreign and are within the sector of advanced manufacturing. What I think is very interesting nowadays is to understand how we can specifically dedicate our manufacturing capabilities into subsectors. And as you see from this slide, what we do in Lombardy is try to enhance our capacity to differentiate among very different sectors of application. So you see, we go from the advanced polymers to batteries to smart components through artificial intelligence and robotics, meaning that what we want to do is to be more and more, as the Lombardy region is very much stressing these days, an extraordinary land of innovation in the upcoming years, stressing a lot on the innovation connected to the manufacturing. You all know that the long tradition the Lombardy has in manufacturing. The main challenge we're facing is to foster more and more the capability of our region to make the most out of the advanced application of the manufacturing, combining the long tradition of our know-how and our people with the more important and state-of-the-art technologies. This is probably one of the most important slides of my brief presentation. So the combination of advantages we can provide to companies. I already mentioned the strong network of innovation, which involve universities, innovation centers, and itself companies that have their own innovation centers. Let me stress a lot the education system centrality. We know how much we need to enhance our technical capabilities through the universities. So in Lombardy, we have 15 universities, and of course, among the most important universities, not just in Italy, but in the entire Europe. And let me stress this: an increasing numbers of students coming out of the technical institutions that we definitely want to increase, because we need to face the challenge of companies that need more advanced resources, and it's increasingly difficult to find them. And of course, the connection, the great connection that even more with within the National Recovery Plan, even more opportunities in terms of infrastructure that are connecting very well our region with the rest, not just of Italy, but of Europe. Again, the business community and the community within the manufacturing, but not only the manufacturing. You see here just around 20 of examples. Sorry if we haven't mentioned all of them, but it's impossible within a single slide. We decided to mention some of those that, in our experience, are doing a good job and are helping also the attractiveness, and within our perspective of the Invest in Lombardy activities, are helping us in dealing with also bringing more investments into our region. We're working, just to mention a few, we're working very, very well with AFIL, Associazione Fabbrica Intelligente, so the Lombardy Smart Factory Association, that is helping us, stressing our capability to understand the reasons why of the region, meaning providing especially foreign companies reason why to come here to do business and invest into our region. I can mention what we're doing in manufacturing, but with an application specifically related to life sciences in collaboration with the Milan Innovation District. So the most important, one of the most important redevelopment plans within the entire Europe in relation to specific sector as life science, biotechnology, and related issues. We have mentioned here just again a few examples, recent example that we have considered interesting for our guest today. This is a combination of Italian and foreign investments, just to provide you the current flavor, the current feeling within our region. So we're keeping attracting foreign companies, but we are also very much concerned about keeping our companies, our Lombardy companies, within the territory to retain them. So this is a combination of big names that you see, ABB, ST, Microelectronics, but also important Italian companies, corporations that are investing in advanced manufacturing. These are some examples in the last couple of years in which you see IoT, big data, robotics, advanced manufacturing in very different way of conceiving it. Couple of last slides just to end my presentation. how important it is to help companies, especially if they come from other countries, with a dedicated one-stop shop service. I think that this is what we do in Lombardy, but this is also what we're doing all together with the rest of the regions and together with the Italian Trade Agency and all the Italian system, helping companies through all the process of their activities. So these are just examples of the various services we provide. You see, very diversified, free of charge, if it comes to helping investments, big or small investments into our regions and, let's say, our country. Very final words on where you can find us. We have a dedicated info point with a lot of information. We are, let's say, probably the first region, or let's say among the first region that have developed in the last couple of years, let's say last 5 years in particular, but say in particular in the last couple of years, but we started 5 years ago, creating a dedicated platform for companies, helping them identify opportunities, concrete opportunities of investments into our region. So I really welcome all of you visiting us, and again, thanks for invitation and your attention today.
Thank you, Marco. So we reached the last presentation, the last regional presentation. So before the closing remarks, so I will hand over to Giulia Marcon, that is the head of International Promotion Department of Piedmont region. So Giulia, are you online? Dottoressa Marcon?
Here we are. Okay.
Okay.
We wanted to share immediately so that we are ready to go because we are going toward the conclusion. So being the last is always a challenge. And so I would like to share immediately my presentation with you. And first of all, to thank all the organizers for inviting us. We have the occasion to be in presence in other occasions, and I'm sure it will be in the next edition. So thank you for inviting us today. Piedmont is a high specialized and complete and trusted supply chain destination, and we decided to focus on this today, being in the framework of the World Manufacturing Forum. Some key facts and figures about our region. Piedmont is the 7th region as far as population is concerned, but looking at export, as Mr. Soldani said before, is a key factor in Italian economy. Piedmont is counting more than the population weight. We are 9.6% of the national total. About 428,000 companies are operating in Piedmont in different size, from very, very big companies such as everybody knows Stellantis, some very, very small companies, micro companies. Most of them are startups working in the innovation development and environment. About our GDP, we are counting, say, 7.6% of the national total, but we are the first region in terms of private investment in R&D. This is the reason why we are an innovative background, and one of the reasons for being among 6 out of 10 Italian hubs with the highest degree of innovation are based in our region. As I was saying before, about 800 innovative startups are already registered. The number is increasing every day, so probably it's already more than this today. Which are the location advantages? We went from our colleagues from Friuli, Venezia, Giulia in the very east to us who are in the very western part of northern Italy. The city of Torino is located, the capital of Piedmont is located at 1 hour from the French borders, 3 hours from Geneva, Switzerland, and 150 kilometers far from the port of Genoa, which is our main port, and 50 minutes from Milano Malpensa Intercontinental Airport, while we have other 2 airports in our region, Torino International Airport and Cuneo Levaldigi, as well as being an international airport. So strategically, our region is strategically located in the heart of Europe, and especially at the crossroads of the 2 European corridors, crossing exactly in our region. And this is the reason why logistics is becoming one of the most increasing and performing sectors in Piemonte. The business environment, Piemonte has a very verified environment. Most of the people know Piemonte and Torino for the automotive sector, and for sure, automotive and transportation is one of our main sectors. But as well, we have other sectors such as aerospace and mechatronics, that main advantage production system based in the region. Clean tech and life sciences have increased in recent years, and I don't need to tell why, in increasing sectors in our economy. Agri-food, we are region known for our wines, and not only that, this is one of the reasons why many tourists come to our region, is to taste wine and food, and we distribute all over the world, from Hong Kong to Los Angeles to the very south of America. Fashion and jewelry, just to name 2 big names. Bulgaria is based, is not from our region, but they opened new factories in our region in the last 10 years. And Cartier is opening a second plant in our region in the next months. Logistics, I mentioned the reason why it's so important, the crossing of the 2 European corridors, west, east, and north, south. ICT, because it's becoming, it's not anymore probably a sector, but it's in all sectors. We have an increasing importance of ICT. Cybersecurity in the last years became one of the main focus and developing of the economy in our region. Production systems named under the label of mechatronics, real estate, and textile. I just don't have to name. I always say that everybody knows where some names such as, for example, Ermenegildo, Zegna are, but not everybody knows that these names such as Loro Piana, Piacenza, and Zegna, just to mention a few, are from our region, and particularly from the district of Biella. Being in the framework of the World Manufacturing Forum, we decided to focus our presentation today on 3 sectors. The first of the 3 is aerospace. Piemonte is an aerospace very important sector for our region. More than 350 small and medium-sized enterprises that are based in the region. More than 20,000 employees work in this sector. 7 billion is the turnover considered in 2021. One of these is mainly in export, and 20% of the overall Italian export in aerospace comes from Piemonte. It's a complete and integrated supply chain based in the region that goes from civil aviation to defense and space sectors. Probably not everybody knows that almost 70% of the International Space Station was made because in Piemonte, and still supplies goes regularly from the Earth to the station, thanks to the CNews system. The new space economy is the most attractive segment in this moment for potential investors, and aerospace is the sectors where recently most of the investing in the regions were done. Our most representative big players, Leonardo, which is based in other regions that were mentioned before, Avio Aereo, Thales Alenia Space, which is focused on space and is the author of what I was saying before about the International Space Station, Altec, and which is our small Houston, as we call it, because Altec is a control system from from Earth, Collins Aerospace, and Mecha Air, who recently came as new investments in the regions. The full chain is present, and this is the reason why some years ago we decided to host in our region ADM, such as Aerospace and Defense Meetings, a business convention that takes place every 2 years in our region, in alternation with Toulouse, being two main moments where not only supply chain, but key players, companies, research institutions, universities meet to discuss and to exchange about the business, the aerospace business. Here you can see some figures about the 2021 edition and the dates of the next edition, which will be in 2023 in Torino, last days in November, exactly in 1 year from now. Automotive transportation, we can't avoid speaking about this being Piedmont. There are almost 800 companies working only in components manufacturing companies, and more than 100,000 employees in automotive are still working in our region. Consider that about 33.5% of all the companies that constitute the automotive sector and transportation in Italy are based in Piedmont. This is because it was the cradle of Italian automotive industry, being before starting with Fiat, Fabbrica Italiana Automobili Torino, then through the merging and different situation that the company went through. It's the front runner in Italy, and many of these more than 700 automotive components manufacturing companies I was mentioning before are now working for all OEM all over the world, from not only in Europe but in all the continents. Sorry. We account about 45% of the national automotive sector total revenue, and the focus in the recent years is in the new mobility, the new autonomous technology driving, digitalization, electrification, new propulsion systems, and for sure battery, hydrogen. These are the new frontiers. New production system. This is our third sector we would like to illustrate you today. The value added that annually is produced is 5.7 billion value added, about 4,700 enterprises. And this sector is very employing and very recruiting in our region, because about 78,000 people work in this sector. It's always an increase, because we all know that this is a key sector not only for Piedmont but for Italy, that is constitutes a great part of Italian exports, and it's the same for our region. It's an ecosystem oriented to innovation, and with a great potential market of 26,000 enterprises operating in automotive and these sectors, which are our most widespread: the production system, logistic, automotive, 3D printing machines, and services for machinery. You can just have
Sorry, I have to interrupt you. If you can end the presentation, it's more than 12 minutes.
It's my last. You
Very
just
good. Sorry.
interrupted me.
Perfect time.
We were in perfect timing, exactly. I
Thank you.
tried to,
Thank you.
and this is
Thank,
the reason why I was so fast, because I didn't want to take any more time to Professor for his conclusion. Thank you,
exactly.
everybody.
Thank you very much. So we reached the end of the second part of this presentation. Thank you to all the speakers for the key figures and the important and the wide presentation of the opportunities in all the regions. So now I think it's the moment for our closing remarks. Let me give the floor to Professor Marco Taj, Scientific Chairman of the World Manufacturing Foundation.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Let me say hello to all the people who are connected. Thanks for the Italian Trade Agency for inviting and also for hosting this meeting annually at the premises of the World Manufacturing Forum. We have been discussing a lot about manufacturing this morning. As you know, every year we present the result of a document, a white paper. We call it a report, where with more than 50 experts from all over the world, 30 countries, we are trying to understand what are the most important challenges that manufacturing and in general the global trade are going to face in the next few years. So the focus of this year has been on redesigning supply chain in the new era of manufacturing. The outcome that we have been discussing, and that all the companies who are here and all the attendees who are here are still discussing, is the fact that redesigning supply chain is of course something which has to happen, which is already happening, but we need to foster and increase in the speed of this innovation. The pandemic, the war between Ukraine and Russia, the increase of the price of oil, gas, and energy, the shortages of raw material are creating a lot of challenges to the manufacturing, and this is forcing a lot of companies, global companies, to redesign. If we want to be provocative, we should say the globalization as we have perceived or lived in the last 20 years is over, and there is a new globalization coming. We see that there are three main areas in the near future, which is the Americans from one side, Europe and the second, and then the Far East or the East or Asia in general as three main regions. But some of the recommendations we have been putting on the table are the one I'm going to share with you. Few of them, of course, because there is no time. First of all, we think that companies should not overreact. We use this term. There are already signals that the price of the gas is going down. We are expecting to return to a quite normal economical situation in a couple of years, right? So if we go now from a total globalized world back to a pure nationalism, this is wrong. This is not the right way to do it, okay? So first of all, do not overreact, keep calm, and be pragmatic in the redesign. The second, let me say, takeaways that we have is that SMEs should be involved in the redesign. In many manufacturing industries, SMEs are the backbone at the end of the added value production. They need to be included and involved in a sort of co-design of the supply chain. The third message is that we see, and let me say we fear, that there still will be a very important scarce, let me call it raw material, or in the near future, which are the people with the right skills in the right quantity. It is quite easy to change your suppliers. It's quite easy to redesign your supply chain, quite easy, as I said. But in order to train people, educate people, you need many more years. And this could be really the point that most of the company should face a problem in the near future. And there are many more, let me say, recommendations that we put on the table and we are still discussing, as I said. There is no time now to go into the detail of each of them. One important message that I would like to share with you is that redesigning requires the collaboration of all of the countries, of the multinational companies, of the SMEs, of agencies like the Italian Trade Agency and all the other person and people who are connected from the other side of the world. This is really a global exercise, let me say it this way. Protectionism is not the right way to do it, and I hope that this is understood, and this is the message that the World Manufacturing Foundation is conveying today to all the politicians and the global governments. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor, for underlining the role of the Italian Trade Agency. And I think we reached now the final moment of this webinar. I would like to thank you from this wonderful venue that is the Porsche Experience Center, Franciacorta. Thank you very much. And I think next year, do we already have the date of the next edition?
You will be informed very soon.
Thank you very much. So thank you also to all our colleagues, and special greetings to our desk analysts throughout worldwide. And I just remind that we will forward all the presentations. That's it. So thank you again. Grazie a tutti per essere stati presenti. Arrivederci.